We arrived at Mid-America Raceway in Muncie just in time for the final runoffs in the top fuel eliminator and funny car classes. A load of powerhouse machinery was in the pit area and started to move out in the staging lanes. This was the first round for fuelers. The first pairing featured Paul Longenecker in lane 1 against Gary Dye in lane 2. Longenecker wins it with an ET of 6.89 at 191 miles per hour. Next up in lane 1, Dale Funk driving the Kentucky Moonshiner against Jack Revell in lane 2. Falters at the start line, and the Moonshiner claims an easy victory with a 6.91. 2 more cars and 2 more burnouts brought the Michigan boy Bob Farmer up to the line to go against the Sear and Schofield car. Winners in lane 2, Sear and Schofield with a 6.45 ET and a sizzling 221 miles per hour. In this pairing, the celebrated Michigan driver Dick LaHaie puts Gene Rathgeb back on the trailer with a winning ET of 6.59. In this one, it's Sid Seeley in the first lane and Marv Schwartz alongside. 2 very healthy cars. The concentration is on the tree. The Florida Flash grabs it. Marv Schwartz comes up with an ET of 6.63. Suddenly, it was time for the funny cars, and some wild ones burned out of the staging area. Duel in the second round featured Al Hanna driving the Eastern Raider against Setzer and Foster's Chevy Vega. Barry Setzer's Vega is first through the traps with a 6.90 at 207.85 miles per hour. The crowd was waiting for this one. The go between Dick Clark's Blue Max Mustang in lane 1 and Kenny Safford's driving Mr. Norm's Silver Dodge. The Blue Max screams past Kenny Safford to take the win at 217 miles per hour. ET 6.71. Joe Lee lights the fuse under his Charger to squeak out a close win over Gary Bolger, driving the Gold Digger. This last run in the second round put Paula Murphy in her oil company special against Jim Paoli in the red, white, and blue Vega. Paoli pulls Paula's petticoat with a winning ET of 6.64 at 209 miles per hour. Dick LaHaie in lane 2 against the Kentucky Moonshiner were the first 2 cars to kick off round 2 for the fuelers. When LaHaie blows the chute, he has his second win of the day with an ET of 6.57. Lane 1, red lights on the start. It's an easy win for the Sear and Schofield car as they bark through the traps at 223 miles per hour. Paul Longenecker stages again, waits for the green light and wins easy, this time against Jack Mitchell with an ET of 6.70. In this one, Marv Schwartz guarantees himself a berth in the semifinals by beating Dan Reitzel in a close one, 6.44 to 6.51. The first match in the funny car semis put Jim Paoli and Smokey Joe Lee head-to-head at the start line. Paoli gets a beautiful hole shot and goes on to grab the win with an ET of 6.72, 209 miles per hour. This was the rhubarb of the day. It seems that Dick Tharp popped his chute on the Blue Max during his burnout. The crew grabbed it out of the car in a hurry, but not before the officials spotted it. And it's illegal for these cars to run without a chute. When the starter enforced this ruling, there was a minor eruption in Lane 1. Meanwhile, the countdown continued, and on the green, Barry Setzer made a lonesome winning run in Lane 2. Semifinals for fuelers, and the tension starts to build as the Sear and Schofield car fires up in Lane 1. Dick LaHaie in Lane 2. Halfway down the chute, LaHaie's engine goes into flames. He stays on the throttle, but loses the run with an ET of 6.53 to 6.32. Lane 1, Paul Longenecker. Lane 2, Marv Schwartz. It's a big one, and both cars stage well. On the green, Longenecker gets the jump, but halfway down, Schwartz really comes on and takes the win. An ET of 6.44, 218 miles an hour. With 2 cars left, it's final time for the funnies. The Setzer and Foster cars in Lane 1, driven by Barry Setzer. Jim Paoli's Vega in Lane 2. Both cars explosive, and the crowd is up. There he goes. The red, white, and blue Vega, driven by Jim Paoli, is all wound out and goes on to win the closest race he's ever had, 6.65 to 6.66. Here's the big one of the day for fuelers. Marv Schwartz in Lane 1, paired off against the only other unbeaten car of Sear and Schofield in Lane 2. The crowd is tense as both cars stage. Schwartz red-lighted. Sear and Schofield explodes through the traps at over 225 miles per hour and an ET of 6.34. A capacity crowd of over 15,000 saw Paoli and Schofield pick up their trophies for the Northern Nationals. For them, it was a great day in the Hoosier State.